Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. Right, so I did promise in the comments that I would do a video on the severe conditions criteria, because it's a little bit ambiguous. You know, people have talked about it, the government have talked about it, but there isn't really anything in specific detail which people can go by. And I think it's deliberately kept a little bit ambiguous so that they can work around it, so the GWP can, you know, work their magic and say, well, it doesn't quite fit those conditions because they're very general. Anyway, I'm going to read to you a website which sets it out quite clearly, but the detail is still not brilliant because we don't really have a huge amount of detail. But and I'm going to read it to you anyway, and you can decide for yourselves what you think about it. So let's take a look. Right, I shall leave the link to this, of course, in the description below, as I always do. But I'm just going to go through some of the main points of it so that you can get a glimpse of what it entails. From April 2026, new claimants who meet the SCC will not have to face future reassessments for health element of universal credit, though they will still be reassessed for personal independence payment. At the same time, Labour is almost halving the limited capability for work-related activity element payable to new claimants, but claimants with LCWRA who also meet the SCC will get the full amount. The current qualifying conditions for LCWRA require one of a number of descriptors to apply to the claimant for the majority of the time. For example, cannot pick up and move a 0.5 litre carton full of liquid, cannot press a button, such as a telephone keypad, with either hand, or cannot turn the pages of a book with either hand, cannot cope with any change due to cognitive impairment or mental disorder to the extent that day-to-day life cannot be managed. The severe conditions criteria require claimants to meet the same criteria constantly. Constantly is defined in the bill as at all times or on all occasions on which the claimant undertakes or attempts to undertake the activity. However, many degenerative conditions, such as Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and muscular dystrophy, follow a slow path of decreasing ability with periods of remission. So most days you may be able to turn the pages of a book, but you may have occasional good days when you can do so. Or your manual dexterity may be better first thing in the morning, but get rapidly worse as fatigue sets in. At the moment, a claimant with these circumstances would get the full amount, which from April 2026 will be £423.27 a month, because they meet the descriptor for the majority of the time. However, from April 2026, new LCWRA claimants in the same position will only get half this amount, £217.26, because they do not meet the descriptor constantly. But the same claimant will never improve their condition, will only get worse. So if you are already unable to work because of a degenerative disease, they will never be able to work again in the future. Under Labour's new rules, however, they will have to exist on half the LCWRA element, possibly for years, after there is no chance of their ever being able to work again, until they can show that they are constantly unable to carry out an activity rather than just for the majority of the time. So that's it in a broad nutshell, should we say. Obviously it's going to come down a lot of it to interpretation, specifically with the DWP and their assessors. They are going to be the ones who are going to be assessing whether you had this constantly or not. Now we did have Stephen Timms in Parliament talking about what he considered to be constantly, but I think it's deliberately kept a little bit ambiguous because what they want to do is have a bit of wiggle room there. So, you know, it might be that they don't think you are constantly, as this measures it, because of certain things that you can do some of the time. So I think they've kept it deliberately a little bit ambiguous. But that's it in a nutshell, shall we say. Obviously, there's going to be more details coming out as the applications start to go in and as people start to get assessed for this criteria. So there will be more details in terms of who are granted and who aren't, and what kind of conditions they're looking at and things like this. So there is more to come in the future, but I just thought I'd give you that rough breakdown of what it is, because I know a few people have asked me about it in the comments section. So anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about that, or if you how you feel about that. And of course, please do subscribe if you've got this far, and I'll see you next time.